It is the Friday night with the lovely people of Erdinger. We are in the Red Lion. I'm very, very pleased to be here. I've got Stu Wright, I've got Emilia, Bona, and I've got Damian, Kavanagh. This is not the Friday night, it's very Thursday because Liverpool are playing on Friday. We try to be honest about these things. It's also coming out on Thursday as well with a bit of luck if it all comes together, so you will hopefully be seeing it ahead of the game. Liverpool are playing Friday night. It is the curtain raiser. They are the champions, Stu, and it is the first time since 1990 that Liverpool have played a game as reigning champions in front of a capacity Anfield. That can all sound, that's a very faffy way to say this should be fucking brilliant. We were the best team in the country last season and we can celebrate it and we want them to be the best team in the country again.
Yeah, it still feels too long though.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Be boss Liverpool.
Yeah, please.
Bring on the champions sort of summed it up in 4 words.
I mean, it's really exciting, more so than I would have probably anticipated a few weeks ago. I mean, I've been really pleased that I've completely switched off to football for as much as possible for about 6 weeks. And I think, you know, obviously the tragic circumstances of Jota played a part in that as well. I didn't really want to know too much about football, but I think, you know, some time has passed now and we can all be excited. It's right to be excited about the start of the new season where we are reigning champions, and also we've got loads of new toys to play with.
Gonna say, you're going to see so many new lads.
Yeah, it's great.
You're going to have the moment where you go, Frimpong's fast, isn't
it? Yeah, 100%. You know, there's a bunch of lads that I'm ready to fall in love with, you know what I mean? So that's fantastic, that's really exciting, and it almost feels like the handover of a franchise to the next generation, you know what I mean? Like, so like when Star Wars came back with the new sequels, if you like, and the older generation of actors came back to hand it over to the new generation. Let's hope that our season goes better than that sequel franchise did, to be fair. But it feels like, you know, the old heads, Virgil, Andy Robertson still kicking about, Alisson, they're going to guide these new lads through these really young and incredibly exciting, dynamic young players, Wirtz, Frimpong, you know, Kerkers. So you know, I'm really excited, and the fact that it's a Friday night as well almost just, I think, adds to a little bit of a buzz for that for me as well.
Friday night, it does feel often you'd be a bit, I don't know what people think, some people might not like Friday night. I love that we're playing first. I love that we're playing first because we are the champions. I love that it's going to be a big event at Anfield. I like just being the only thing on the telly, and that is us on Friday. I'm excited.
It's going to be absolutely fantastic. It'll also be the first time as reigning champions in front of a capacity Anfield that Emilia Bona will have seen them do that. So that's big for everyone to enjoy, isn't it?
And there'll be loads of yous.
There will, just as little babies all together. Really, well, babies under the age of 36 years old who are all really excited to see it. But it's going to be fantastic. The atmosphere will be amazing. The Community Shield to me, and it's not that I've kind of deliberately chosen not to engage with it, but other than seeing like the big headlines, I've not been like Rob Gutman on it, kind of analysing like flight radar, seeing who's going where, all of it. I've been aware of broadly speaking what's going on, but the Community Shield was the first time that I got to go, oh my goodness, look at all these new lads, aren't they fantastic and handsome? So getting to see them properly in not, you know, a glorified pre-season friendly will be excellent.
It's what you get for last season. It's what you get for being as good as they were. You know, that's the Community Shield, but it's also this sense of excitement. It's also, I think, it could be seen as a sense of responsibility or pressure. For me, I think there's a bit of, let's go and walk tall. You're playing for the champions, boys. That's what I'm looking forward to seeing. And I've seen a Liverpool team walk tall after winning European trophies, and I think I've got to see that. And I think that's a thing. This is a set of Liverpool players who should get to feel like, you know, we are the champions. Even some of the lads who weren't there, in a way, but certainly the ones who were there. Yeah.
So I love the way you've just been talking here. I mean, every fan group should have that at the start of the season because we're all on nil. we all haven't got a problem yet that we've made for ourselves, and we've got all the reasons to be optimistic of it. But more than most, we've got reasons to be optimistic, confident and bullish because we're the best team in the country. Now that's a statement of fact. We've certainly improved our options in some areas. We've still got concerns in a couple of areas that need addressing. And in pre-season, I don't follow it. I have a good break, but I just don't like the idea of listening to scores coming in Liverpool conceding goals. So it'll be interesting to see where that comes in. But the whole thing about thinking back to that Spurs game was just sensational, wasn't it? And it's just, and this is an extension of that, you know, and the Palace game was a great celebration, and the fact that the players were on the ale for the last month and we were all on the ale with them for the last month, and we still won by 10 points and all those things. And there's a Friday night thing, and I'm not necessarily in favour of playing on Friday nights, and I'm certainly not in favour of dragging Bournemouth up on a Friday night. I think they should be borne in mind on that. But, you know, this is what it is, and it's going to be a bit messy, isn't it? The sun's shining, we've got every reason to be confident. I think Liverpool will win, and they'll win well. And you know, Anfield under the lights, what more? Liverpool's better than anybody at Anfield. That is a statement of fact, isn't it? You know, so I'm so excited about the new players and, you know, and all those things. It's also, you just mentioned Jota, and he hasn't been mentioned for a little couple of weeks, and I think due respect was played by the club and everything, and it's the first time I can think of anything like this that's happened, and I do know that that'll be honoured as well. And then it's a question of, right, okay, now that's been honoured, what are we all here for? And life goes on, and you can't stop this, and how would everyone want to approach this game? And I just think it's just going to be a cacophony of noise. Fantastic football. I think Bournemouth are an energetic side and won't know how to play any other way, and they'll have a go at us. They'll give us a chance, and it'll just be all the reasons why you follow football is to have won something, bask in the glory of it, enjoy it, be surrounded by people who have enjoyed the summer, just that inner satisfaction. How many people did you see after that Spurs game, and you could just see the love and the smile on their face? They didn't even have to say anything, and this is the reward for that. And then with the reward, you've got to get the Ronnie Varane thing out, haven't you, and say, well, that was last year.
Yep.
And so bang, and all our rivals will have strengthened, and they'll all want our title and this and that and the other. And so these are our 3 points, and this is our Premier League title, and we're going to start at Anfield, and we're going to start well, and we're going to try and scare the life out of everybody on opening night.
By the way, the best way to honour him, the best way to honour Diogo Jota is to go and win that game, because I can tell you something, Diogo Jota would want to win that game.
He was the ultimate competitor.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's the only thing you can do in life, and you know, it's so sad. But we certainly, from a professional point of view, we have the best of him, and we want to have the best of everybody while we can in this short life. Let's appreciate it, let's enjoy it, so let's get after them.
I fucking love doing a show with Damian. I leave feeling like I could wrestle a lion. I love it.
The man in this press conference it was interesting, Damian said that about our rivals. I thought it was interesting as he was going through it, because he was very much, no, everyone else is good. You know, he's I was interested to see if there was a change of tone, and I think there is a little bit of a change of emphasis, but I think the emphasis is on, you know, we've got to be excellent. That was the big thing I took from the press conference today. You know, there was a lot of, you know, it can't be 8 out of 10 at Liverpool, it's got to 10 out of 10. And I think that's a part of being champions, is that you've got to therefore go and beat them then. You want to be the best ones.
Yeah, I don't know how much of that, him kind of repeatedly saying like, but we are definitely ready and we will definitely be ready, is almost saying it to be like, and I believe it as well, because he's got a reason not to, but I think it was almost like he was trying to make clear that like, anything you've seen that might have given you a cause for concern, don't worry, we're absolutely ready. I like the Michelle Obama-ness of it, of being like, our competitors are fantastic, we're going to give ultimate respect to them, we're going to take it seriously, we're seeing this as, you know, a fantastic opening, and I like that he's a class act in that way. And they were good, like when we played them last season, they were good. They're not as good now, but they were good.
They were good, and we will, I want to sort of deconstruct them in a minute, Stu, but I want to also say, I think the other thing that I took from him today, the manager, in that big way of his, was no excuses. He was doing the no excuses thing. He was, well, it's been hard so far, and this has happened. There's some reasons why things haven't. Damian sitting in his, I like to imagine the idea of checking his phone, or someone has to knock on the door and go, they've conceded again, Damian. He goes, oh, God, what are they up to? But him saying, no, this is why it's happened so far. But he was crystal clear on, this is why it's happened so far, but there are no excuses from this point. Yeah. And that is, I think that's what he was like last season as well. There was no excuses. You're playing for Liverpool, I don't care, there's no hiding places.
Yeah, I mean, if anything, I thought I took more from it than even you did there, in terms of saying like 8 out of 10 isn't good enough. The way I interpreted his statement was, you know, we've got 10 out of 10 players here, but almost that's not enough. Excellence isn't enough. Liverpool needs to be perfect. We are the champions. That feels lovely, doesn't it? We are the champions. I'm going to say it again. But you know, it's time now to go out there and act like it. Of course, you've got new players. There is going to be a period of transition, but these new players, the good news is they're brilliant. Yeah, they're brilliant. There's no, you know, real feeling of having to like, you know, get them used to the Premier League. In some cases, they're already used to the Premier League. Okay, you got 1 or 2, but again, someone like Wright. No good. I mean, what a player! What a player! At one point in the press conference, the manager even said, "Are you serious?" You know, when he was talking about how creative Wright is, and we got to saw little snippets of that in the Community Shield, just little moments of it, but it was enough to say, this is going to be exciting, this is going to be exhilarating, this is going to, we're going to be potentially the team to watch, I think, this season. And I think as well, we can all take a lot from the performance of Ekitike in that Community Shield. The mobility that he had, but also the technique, the vision, the intelligence that he showed. I mean, already showing signs of good link-up play with the new players around him. I mean, good players, intelligent players, they work it out very, very quickly, don't they? And I think that's going to be the case there. So, I know everyone's really excited about seeing Wright, but I think if anything, I'm more excited about seeing Ekitike because he looks the real deal.
Yeah, I only seen him a little bit in the Charity Shields. That's all I've seen of anything, really. And it demands it. He's not the same type. It's not the same type of impact. But I remember Jürgen talking about Divock, saying we're going to have some fun with this player. And you just look at Ekitike and you think we're going to have a lot of fun with this player. You know, the directness, the quickness, the fact that, you know, it's going to be someone who can take someone on and go past the player or whatever. But also, you're talking about these young players and that. You just look at the fullbacks. And we've got a couple of fine fullbacks already at the club. Bradley and Robertson, thank you very much. And we've just got these two flying machines, you know, so it's sort of like, well, we're going to, you know, so whatever way you want to play, we're going to have these lads doing this and that, and then Wright is, you know, sort of like he's going to unpick it all. There's so much to be excited about with the quality. Liverpool have got the most coveted player at the summer.
Yeah.
The most coveted player in the world that was available this summer, and we've got him. And then we've already got, you know, great depth at the full-backs, like I say, but look at the options that we've got from an offensive point of view. So, yeah, there's every reason to say Liverpool can score more goals than they did last season. That's all right, isn't it?
It is indeed. It is the red line. We are enjoying our Erdinger absolutely massively. And we'll be back in a minute or two to talk about Bournemouth.
And Erdinger, please.
Stop! Don't forget the best bit.
Welcome back. You were talking about them before and about the fact that they've obviously lost a couple of players, but they were a success story last season, Bournemouth. They could be really proud of what it is that they did, but also the way they went about it. They were a football team that were really front-footed. They were good against us on a couple of occasions. Emilia, they're a good side, and they're a side who will be well organised and will be aggressive.
Yeah, I think that's why I'd like to see Liverpool tomorrow night, full of all of the pomp and all of the confidence and, you know, everything that they deserve to be, but in no way complacent. And I think that is what the manager makes absolutely clear at the press conference, is that we're not going to be complacent about it, and that's not what we're there for. So it's a nice first fixture, I think. And also the fact that there's this and then about a month until we play again is quite nice, because it means that we get to go, right, everything, we give it everything, and they also get to do the same. And then you've got a longer period before we then have to worry about coming to Newcastle and people having like gelled more, had more time to train together, potentially like players that are just starting to train again after injury being back. It's, dare I say it, the perfect first fixture, which I'm looking forward to. And I don't say that to be like it'll be a piece of piss and we'll steamroll them. I just mean it's a good first run out.
I think that, I'll say again, I completely agree with Emilia in that I think it's. I think they are all quite. It all feels rather Goldilocks. And listen, we could all be made to look stupid. Come Saturday morning, so we're flipping that back saying Goldilocks. Do you think Liverpool 1, Bournemouth 3? But that's also one of the reasons why I actually do feel I like the feeling of these could come to Anfield and score 3 goals. This is the sort of club and team they are. That's why they're a credit to themselves. It's also why you're expecting to get a spectacle. You're expecting to get a game of football. What you're not going to get is a team sitting in and hanging on for dear life and just looking to counter. You're going to get a game of football. Yeah,
it's perfect for opening night if you're talking about the atmosphere and setting something up, because they're going to go toe-to-toe, aren't they?
Yeah.
And
surely.
Well, you'd fully expect that from what they've done previously, and that's their strength. But then their strength plays to our strength.
Exactly.
And so we haven't got any excuses, and I like that. And I like that from a manager. You know, there's no hard lines here. Like, you know, we are Liverpool. You know, there's, you know, whatever narrative you want to create. And so, no, this is it now. We've got to be smart. So they're going to come out, and, you know, if we start slowly, there'll be a boot up the arse by them to us. And so the lads should be on points for that. And they're going to keep it going, and they're going to keep it going for an hour and a half. Aren't they? They're going to, aren't they? You know,
last season they were 3-0 down second half, and they played like their lives depended on it. And they were 3-0 down, and every single time you thought they'll calm it down a minute, they just kept running at us.
Yeah, what a huge success story in the Premier League with the, you know, the size of the ground and the resources. They've got a really smart club, you know, all that, and they're going to come out on that. But like I say, it's going to play. It's going to give us the opportunity to say, well, if you want to go toe to toe, let's have it. Now, what a night that can. You know, you're licking your lips there now. You're the excitement of that. You know, that's what you want. And so, you know, I think the game will be a bit basketballish at times, but I do expect Liverpool to get a measure of control. And then it'll be interesting to see how Liverpool unpick locks. Let's see what we've got. So it's got all the ingredients. I do agree it's a perfect fixture for the excitement. There would be easier games technically Liverpool could play on the opening night, but this is a great one to set the tone. And set the tone to say, this is what we've got. These are our attacking talents. These are how we can impose ourselves. This is what it's like to come to Anfield, everybody else. You know it. And we've just picked up where we left off last time when we were still not on the ale.
Well, when you look at that, just to back that up, I think, you know, their most exciting forward players are probably what they're going to have to lean into, because the defence has been gutted. Their defence has been gutted, and they've had a change of goalkeeper as well. Now, you know, we'll see what the replacements are like. But if you're their manager, I think you've got to lean into the fact of, you know, get the ball to Semenyo, get the ball to Evan Nielsen, you know, take our chances that way. I do think it could well be an end-to-end game. I think it could be incredibly exciting. And if you are their manager as well, you'd be looking at Liverpool and thinking, maybe there's opportunities there in the turnover, in the transition. Maybe we can get at them then, because that's where Liverpool have looked a little bit suspect in pre-season, and we've had a big turnover of players ourselves. So I think we're in for potentially a bit of a barnstorm and opener. Guaranteed 0-0 now. Guaranteed. But on paper it looks like it's got the ingredients for a very, very exciting night.
One of the things, Stu, though, from I think both our point of view and their point of view, is for a couple of reasons. Neither side might feel like they've got much from the bench. They've got a couple of injuries. Kluivert's almost certainly going to miss out. Uatra, though, is linked away and probably won't be involved. They might have one or two subs in the midfield and attack, but there's no Lewis Cook, there's no Ryan Christie, almost certainly. It's not ideal for them. And then we're in a situation where we looked at our bench in the Charity Shield from an attacking point of view. You know, the manager was at pains today to point out, and I wasn't quite sure how old Ben Doak is, but he was at pains today to point out I only had under 19s, under 20s, whatever it is, when I turned round. Like, it's quite rare to watch a contemporary game of football and think, well, the 2-11s are going to have to sort this out, but it's not that far away from that, certainly in terms of the attacking options.
Yeah, I think you're onto something there as well. And what was a little bit concerning on Sunday was the fact that I think we ran out of gas. You know, after an hour, we looked goosed.
Visibly.
Yeah, we did.
Both sides, like.
Yeah, and I suppose the biggest concern, and I've already mentioned his name, is if you're not getting best part of 90 minutes out of Ekitike, if you're feeling like you're going to have to take him off at some point, then there isn't necessarily the obvious person to come off the bench and play centre forward. And that had an impact, I felt, the other day. So, you know, I think it's underlined really that Liverpool need to increase their stock there, at centre forward, their options there. So
on that point, genuinely, I understand why the three young lads who were on the bench, or the two young lads in Chiesa who were on the bench, who the manager didn't use, were the ones he went for. I genuinely think he should have Daniels on the bench for this. I genuinely think wherever he sees them in a pecking order in the round, I think he should have a centre forward on the bench.
Oh, 100%.
Because he can't have another situation where he takes Ekitike off, and it's got to be, because if that game is level and you feel like Ekitike's got to 72 and he's got no more to give, I think you need someone who comes on who knows what it is to go and play number 9. So it seems like a bit of a thing to say, but I think he's got to have a centre forward on the bench.
I don't think he does, though. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if he's on the bench, but I don't necessarily think he'll bring Dan's on. I like Dan's, to be honest. I'd like to see him given a bit of a run and given an option when they're out with the opportunity. Like, this would be an opportunity. But I think he's more likely to go with, if he is having to take Ekitike off, I think he's more likely to go with Szoboszlai Jones playing, as false nines as he did at City.
But if the game's listen, if we're 2 goals ahead at that point, absolutely no problem. If Liverpool need a goal, I'd rather they kept the structure and had
it's not what I'd do.
But I think to back his both up, I agree with that it should absolutely be an option, because you're going to get an injury early on, and you're talking about the shape of the team. Now, if Ekitike runs himself out, the game could be gone, could be done. It's in a direction. You can do what you like. You can adjust a few things and do whatever. But if it's not, and you still need someone who knows what it's like to be the focal point of the attack, and that lad hasn't let anybody down, has he? No. Do you know what I mean? And if it lands in front of his feet, in front of that goal, it's going in the net as well. He won't be as mobile. There's loads of things that he won't be able to do. But certainly as an option in this day of many substitutes, I think he's got to be one. We've simply got to have someone like that, because we just haven't got anybody else. And then what if the other options aren't going to work, the way the game's flowing and whatever have you? You need something to upset people sometimes. And so I think Jayden's got to be in the equation.
And you've got the other two young lads on the wing, haven't you? You've got Doka and Gamoa who are great options. But again, I'm just not sure how quick the manager will be to use them. For me, you know, if we're not out of sight with 20 minutes to go, I'll be a little bit nervous, because if I was their manager, I'd be looking at Liverpool going, have they got the juice in the tank for that last 20 minutes? They might want to make it a 20-minute game at the end of the game if they can hang in there to learn. So if Liverpool can get 2 or 3 ahead before 70 minutes, I feel a lot more comfortable, I think. And there's every reason to think they could do with the attacking talent that's on the pitch for Liverpool. It's incredibly exciting.
I think on the exciting side of things, depending on how it goes, those 2 young wingers, they've got something about them. You know, and for like 20-minute cameos or something like that, I wouldn't be nervous about them coming on. I understand why the manager might be or whatever, but I think they've shown enough, one in pre-season and one in
Cups,
playing somewhere else. I just think that fast, direct, hungry, and as the game gets tired, they could be the ingredients. But going back to the point about Jayden's hands, that's an option that we've got to have.
It's interesting, in the press conference, he talked his midfield up, said if anything of the lines where I think I've got the best options, it's midfield, which I think is a massive compliment to Gravenberch, but he's not available.
Yeah.
Massive compliment to McAllister, but he might not be available.
Yeah.
They will need Szoboszlai and Jones to be on it.
Yeah, and it is also probably where we were weakest in the Community Shield, because everything that they get comes from kind of a counter-attack when we've gone to pieces a little bit, or where we're just a little bit sloppy. So I'm not saying he's wrong and he's right to say that, but I don't know if a degree of that was like compensating for that kind of...
Or sending a bit of a message, like, you've got to be a bit better, boys, because I think this could.
Yeah, because I think it was shown to be a bit of a weakness on the weekend.
Yeah, I think it was interesting because he talked about, for instance, he was asked about Szoboszlai, and he talked about giving away chances when we gave up possession cheaply. And there was a couple of times that was Szoboszlai, frankly, but then there was also a sense that Jones was a bit too safe. So it's getting the balance of this. I think these are good players, Stu. I just think it's easy to sort of, you just need to move dials from time to time, and I think that Bournemouth could be a good opponent actually for the pair of them, especially if you know you've got McAllister coming for 30 minutes.
Well, that's it. I think that's what will happen. I think that it will be Szoboszlai and Jones that start along with Wright, and I think primarily the reason for that will be because although he thinks, I think he'll suspect he can get at least an hour out of McAllister, but I don't think he will do it, because I think you'll see the back half of the game as a time where he'll have to take off Ekitike, he'll have to move Jones and Szoboszlai forward, and then potentially have Endo and McAllister sitting. I think that's how he might end up, and he can't do that if McAllister starts. So that's why I think he'll go with Szoboszlai and Jones. Szoboszlai's had a great pre-season. A great pre-season. He didn't have his best game on Sunday, but I think you've got to back him.
Are we all having a great night?
Oh, I'm going to have a fantastic night.
Fantastic
night.
Defo,
yeah. I think the atmosphere will be great, the joy will be in the grounds. All that we've talked about the excitement, the nature of the game. I think we're looking at something like a 4-1. I think it's going to be so entertaining. You're going to be jealous if you're not at Anfield on Friday night.
Get me in that ground.
If only we could go now, but it's Thursday. I made that clear before. It is Thursday night with Erdinger. We are in the Red Lion, and we've just done all of this, and I'm glad no one said Alexander Isak, and I'm even more intrigued that no one said Mo Salah, because he always scores opening day.